Hello. Let me do my meta goals report, which I think is going to be a lot of restating of the stuff that I've already talked about on my other kind of goals thing. But I've actually probably had a little break from doing them. I was doing the meta goals kind of click, click, click for a couple of days, and then I think things solidified a bit. So I might as well just chat about them here. Um, I think um, there's I probably might as well just admit to myself that this is more of a meta goals about my booktube channel than it is about about more general life, which is not a bad thing. It's just it's a meta goals about my about booktube, because I probably need to do more work or more framing to figure out more general goals. I mean, there's for me for general goals, it's my relationship with Ja. It's kind of upkeep of the house and the general grounds. It's being good 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 companion to my dogs. Um, it's trying to be a more work at being as good of a support worker at work. Um, you know, getting to work on time, and not forgetting kind of a core thing of just sort of compassion with the people I work with. Which sometimes, if they're very challenging, that you can get frustrated and that can slip a little bit, but that it's something to really remember that way. So there's an overarching thing that way. I guess booktube stuff is my creative side. My it's my exploring side. It's the I get to be a little bit larger, a space where I get to be a little bit larger than my kind of everyday worker bee self. Yeah. So in amongst that, you know, I think if we're gonna go with booktube meta goals, um, it's going to be here. I'm gonna we're gonna make a list as I go along, um, and we'll see if we can organize it or whatever. But it'll be another list to go in my it'll be another list to go in my thing. I think um, meta goals and meta goals booktube in brackets. Probably number one is to continue a kind of weekly, a weekly reads video. Um, Possibly trying to develop a system for myself where I have a little. I don't know if I make myself a little form so that I have a less of a thing of like, oh, I have to prep this each 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 day, to kind of like, if I could spread that over the week and then just be sitting down and saying, okay, here's my weekly reads, and just quickly bapping through it. Maybe I can kind of cut down the amount of time it takes me to do a weekly read. So a weekly reads video with a prep form. And I mean, it wouldn't be very complicated. It would just be simply, okay, what are you reading this week? What have you finished this week? Kind of that thing, finished reading, going to read. Yeah, yeah. So, finished reading and then going to read. Um, and then, and interesting stuff. Interesting stuff like appropriate to a weekly read is just to make myself a little form that way, and just have that there to kind of note to. God, do I want to add that also to the end of my end of this book? I could have a little weekly read section, because I do look at it every night, and then Yeah, maybe I do. Yeah. Um, at end of journal. Yeah, because that way it would just be, it would be click click click, and then I can just pull it out and do that. So yeah, a weekly reads video is probably one of my meta goals. It's yeah, just a little a form and structure. Form and structure I've kind of found valuable. Maybe takes up a bit of time for my other stuff, but my other stuff is going to be so. My other meta goal is review all books I read. Review all books I read, publish selection. So yeah, review all the books I read. Just gives me. Oh, that's interesting. See, I didn't put the autofocus thingy on. So if I put the autofocus thingy on, it should stop doing that annoying autofocus thing. God damn it. Yeah. So review all the books I read and then publish a selection of them. That way, okay, you can review everything you want, and if you really don't have anything to say, or if that review really sucked and you're not really happy with it, that's fine too. You can just kind of go from there. So yeah, review all the books I read and publish a selection. Um, Number three is my my Canadian my my BC uh, Canadian project, where my BC Canadian project, which I think is something where it's like, okay, well, there's something I can do for myself, which is it's reading local, and it's both fiction and nonfiction, with the nonfiction informing the fictional. And what I mean by that is, like at the moment, I am reading. I finished Empire of the Wild by Cherry Demeline, and she's a Métis author from Ontario, kind of Georgian Bay area, um, and it's like it was an enjoyable kind of genre book, but it's a book that I think. Uh, is a good way of motivating me to like learn about the Métis, to do research on the Métis. And I'm not saying like, oh my God, I'm going to read like a giant library, but like, and I think this is the other thing, is to not make it into a giant project where I'm reading thousands. I mean, I'll get halfway into one giant history book and I'll give up. But it's to inform myself, to read the Wikipedia entry on the Métis, watch videos on the Métis, perhaps keep my eyes open for books, nonfiction books on the Métis, and just kind of incorporate that into my reading. Um, I often think of really critics that I really respect, like Dave White and Alonso Duralde. I listen to their podcast, and what strikes me about them is that yes, they're good at good on the movie. They're movie critics. They're good on the movie that they're that they're reviewing, but they also seem to make a point of informing themselves, of having having background on of like what's this coming out of, what's the cultural thing that this is coming out of, having that history, having a deeper understanding, and then letting that inform their review of the film. And that's not to say that they'll then give a crappy film a break because they learned all this interesting stuff, but it enriches the reading because they've got this stuff, and they can it has a tendency to for let them discover stuff that was already in the film. But if they hadn't educated themselves, they as white, gay, cisgendered critics wouldn't have noticed, wouldn't have properly been able to highlight in the thing. So I was thinking that that is a part of being reading locally, reading fiction, but also being diving deeper into kind of the more the historical, historic stuff, cultural stuff. Also making sure that I'm getting these stories told from getting these stories told from the people themselves. So um, those are probably my big meta goals. Okay, actually, I'm going to put another meta goal on here that is, I think I will, I'm going to, one of my other meta goals will be that in December, I will make a report video on my public channel about my experience of not having comments. A no comments, no comments part two video. No comment part two video, which is report of my experience. Um, report of my experience on going without comments on my YouTube channel. See, I already want to start talking about it, but yeah. Just like just to report on that, uh, and and possibly open the comments to it. Possibly open the comments to it, possibly say, and yeah, if you have any questions for me, leave them below and I will try and answer them. I will try, probably with another video. So maybe that's a no comments part two and then a no comments part 2.5. Um, if anyone has any, if anyone has any questions anymore. Um, yeah, that's a good, that is another good one. Oh, and to go back to number three, I'm not going to announce that as a kind of a goal. I might make a playlist just on the channel of just like that, but I'm not gonna make that a big like dun dun dun, I'm becoming Canadian J, which actually Rick McDonald Donald did, and I think he then kind of regretted that immediately, almost immediately, and recanted. So at the moment I'm thinking that this is a good idea, but I reserve the thing to go, oh yeah, that's too hard, or oh yeah, I didn't find anything that I was that passionate about. It's like this is going to be an exploration of an idea, because I mean I definitely, my channel is about reviewing books, but I was feeling a little bit at sea, and I was thinking that I'm not going to devote myself 100% to only Canadian books and only local and only doing committing myself to rigorously doing kind of explorations into history. It's like that might be a little bit too much of homework all the time. Because I still want to review books like accidentally yours as well. So yeah, I think I will leave it there. I guess I will see. I've made my notes here. I now need to stop and put them in this book somewhere, which is going to have so many different sections. It's going to be crazy. But luckily, this I'm rapidly getting to the end of this particular notebook, and then I will have to then maybe it's good that all these different sections are coming into my mind, and I'm thinking like, oh, I really do look at my weekly goals every night. So I can maybe I can I can add other things that I can look at weekly, and maybe make a little tab for myself, figuring out like how many weeks in a year, or weeks in a. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out imperfectly, and it'll be messy, but I'll figure it out. All right, that is my meta goals report. Hooray! That's actually one of my goals, is to do a meta goals report. So I did that. I'm very proud of me. All right, more videos later.